Hi, Mike Napoleon here with SuperSpeed Golf. I'm really happy to be over here at Rapsodo's booth here at the PGA show. Feedback is incredibly important whenever you're trying to start and do any kind of training regimen, whether it's to train different types of skills on the golf side, or as we're very keen on looking at speed and power in your golf swing. So one of the things that we use the Rapsodo launch monitor for is really to get accurate before and after data when we're doing a super speed training regimen, so that we can actually see and track a player's progress over the course of time. Because we've actually identified that there's a very key pattern to that process that's going to happen. So generally speaking, everybody that picks up a SuperSpeed golf training system is going to usually get a jump in speed of somewhere around 5%, usually the first time that they do the training. Now, that jump is going to dissipate over the next probably half hour to an hour. It's not going to stay along forever. I wish I could say that we could help people increase 5% swing speed in like 5 minutes. I'd be a millionaire, and that would be total magic. But with our training, it actually takes about 6 to 8 weeks for that to become permanent. So one of the things that we can do with the Rapsodo launch monitor is we can measure that first session. We can get a baseline on where that player's starting from a swing speed standpoint, and after we go through super speed training with them, we can see where they are after. And like I said, on average, we're going to see a jump of about 5% swing speed, effectively hitting a ball, the skill in there, hitting a ball after that first session. Now, if you were to continue, and we recommend to do our training 3 times a week with a full day off in between, if you were to continue looking at that before and after data every single session over the course of that next 6 to 8 weeks, what you would see is that the before speed would actually gradually increase. So it gradually grow up to around where that initial jump speed was. The after speed is going to stay pretty much the same as that initial jump. So, for example, if we have a player at 100 miles an hour, after that first session, they're going to probably jump to about 105. Second session, maybe they're at 100.3, then the third they're at 100.4, but we can see that consistent gradual improvement over the next 6 to 8 weeks in effective club speed at the start. After that 8 weeks, we're going to find that there'll be a period of time where that player enters a plateau phase. So that plateau phase is where, before and after the training, they're not going to get a huge increase in speed. I think there's a huge amount of things that we can look at and why it's important to identify that exact moment in time. The number one being is that that's where that player's game from a speed standpoint is going to be more stable. This is when we can recommend that player gets fit for clubs. We can recommend that they start to really hone in all the distances and yardages at this new, faster club speed, because that's going to really make a huge impact on how the ball flies. You go from 100 to 105 miles an hour, it's very likely that you might need a different driver shaft, different loft. All of those different things from a launch condition standpoint are going to be incredibly important to dial in and optimize at that point in that plateau phase. So that plateau phase then lasts for usually about 2 to 3 months. But identifying the start of it is when we can really look to optimize upgrading those protocols, going into a little bit more advanced progression of our overspeed training protocols, which will allow that player to be more aggressive in the training and get a secondary jump. And that usually happens somewhere between 4 and 6 months into the training. We'll see another jump happen, and it's almost like out of the blue. One day the player will come in, the before swings will be about the same, and then we'll get another jump of about 3.5% right after the training protocol. So that's a really cool point too, because that's going to start another 6 to 8 week normalization phase and then enter a secondary plateau. So really categorizing that and measuring those exact moments in time when those different segments of the training start are a great way to help a player optimize their work with overspeed training. Now, this pattern continues, in theory continues forever, with more time between the jumps, smaller jumps each time with some diminishing returns on that. But again, using a device like the Rapsodo launch monitor is an incredible way to optimize your work with SuperSpeed Golf.